Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Strategy Now here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. Let's talk about what's going on in the midday because it's been quite the market action. After about the first 2 hours of selling this morning, you see that the market's into the midday. They're trying to make a bounce, a little bit of a recovery here. Overall, though, you have a trend down day. And so I suspect that there's going to be limited change to this market environment right now this afternoon. But if there is, what you're going to want to watch a few key sectors to get some momentum if the bulls are going to take get some momentum to the upside and start recapturing that push. You're going to want to watch financials. Financials are down about 1.2%. Telecom needs to pick it up. It's down about 0.9%. Industrials down 0.7%. Energy continues to struggle, down 0.6%. Technology, you keep seeing XLK down about 0.5%. Materials down 0.4%. Utilities, XLU down 0.2% in spite of this pullback. Consumer staples down 0.1%. Healthcare down 0.3%, and you have real estate. It's actually up 0.2%. Now I guess the segment of the market that I'm going to watch to see if there is actually the opportunity for the bulls to actually capture some more upside going into the close is going to be the small and mid caps. Take a look at the IWM and the MDY. If they can recoup Wednesday's lows, that would be 134.42 on the small cap Russell 2000, which is the IWM, and 34.50 and on the MIDI, I think you're going to look at it at 304.52. Is going to be the level that you're going to want to watch. If they can at least recapture those lows on Wednesday, then I'd basically be more inclined to say that this was nothing more than a shakeout of week longs. If not, we could have the makings of some more downside, and we're going to want to watch that closely. Now that we're walking into earnings season and tomorrow it's going to be kicked off by the big banks, I actually wanted to look at the financial sector, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the banks in Tech Talk at 3:30 Eastern Time. That's in a couple hours. But I wanted to also look at another segment of the market that I think has the most potential and has some decent beta as far as long-term prospects to the upside in the financial sector, and that's the e-brokers. They have what I consider the most long-term upside potential, but they do have some near-term risks. You know, the fundamental outlook on these e-brokers, and if you want to figure out what I mean by e-brokers, type in IAI. That's an ETF that has a culmination of some large cap and small cap brokerage as well as exchange names. It's not as similar to the XLF, which usually has traditional large cap firms. So there's a nice mix in there. And the names of like Schwab or E-Trade Financial, SCHW or ETFC, they have a ton of potential and have shown over the last couple months with the increase in rates, especially in the 10-year, that their forecasts and their price action has improved to the upside quite remarkably. And one thing that you're going to want to watch is their fourth quarter earnings and see what the impact is on two things. One is the impact of higher short-term rates on NIM, and that's the difference between interest income earned and interest paid by these financial institutions. And then the second thing that you're going to want to see is how higher revenues are impacting earnings. You know, in other words, are you going to start seeing bigger spends and how they're going to approach it? Ultimately, if this group is going to provide the type of beta that I'm expecting, the group is going to have to show good asset growth. So you're going to want to watch that. Not just what the market provides. You're going to want to see sounder fees, and you're also going to see controlled costs. Those that have rallied so far post-election and coming into this new year knowing that there are interest rate hikes on the horizon, looking at right now the horizon, the Fed is signaling at least 3. We want to see how these firms are going to react to those two latter points. And if they can meet those points and have some sound reasoning, rationale, and numbers, you could see that they're going to be the darlings. Those that aren't are going to be basically under some pressure. Names like T. Rowe Price, they could come under pressure if they're not going to meet those numbers. But if you look at the likes of Blackstone, given its huge distribution network, and KKR, the fact that they have an increase in its fixed dividend, these are things that could be positives for these types of institutions and e-brokerage areas, and we're going to watch those closely. All right, folks, that's it for Strategy Now. Join me at 3:30 Eastern Time when I'm going to be talking about charts and options pricing, give you some transparency on where some of these stocks could be trading over the next 24 hours and then going in for the next week. All right, we'll talk to you then, 3:30 Eastern Time here on MarketStream.live.